And I mean, just you have as a mother, and I see my mom do it all the time. You have to have an off and on button, right? Where as soon as you clock off of work, okay, I'm coming home, mommy mode.
Yeah.
You have two young kids.
Yeah.
How is it going to work and dealing with a pandemic out here in the world, but then coming home, let them know, excuse me, that everything is okay. Like nothing's wrong with you, even though you may be exhausted.
Yeah. It was a lot in the beginning because not only did I have to deal with my children, I had to deal with my staff.
Yes.
My staff had children. My physicians had children. And they had mothers and fathers who were, 70 years old or something like that. So I had to deal with how do I still be upbeat? And we're going through this, which nobody knows what's going to happen at the end.
Yes.
So that's a great question. I mean, I don't know if I really dealt with it. It
Uh-huh.
was a lot because you had to prepare yourself for all aspects of what was coming at me. But I think what kept me going every day is, hey, we're still open for our patients. We still care about them. We still want to, we are on the edge of technology to help them, to still let them know they're there for me, even though I can't see them or touch them or, hey, Miss Jones, how you doing today? I couldn't do that, but they knew that they could still reach out.
My mama only showing love just to take mine. How could you make excuses but can't make time? How I'm supposed to fix your demons that can't face mine? Don't invest in the appearance, need a great mind. Cause she can change the way she look, but she can't change grind. The baddest woman got that hustle that you can't find.
Welcome back to Opinionated, the podcast, Miami edition. I am your host, Joshua Hicks, and alongside me, as always, is my brother from another mother, Ree Washington. Today, it's another family affair, you could say. Grand fam. My godmother, Miss Stephanie Small-Diaz, is in the building. Actually, my fault. Dr. Stephanie Small-Diaz is in the building.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is like a great opportunity to sit
Yes.
alongside of you and read. And I look forward to hear what we're talking about today.
Yeah, so first off, just tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, again, my name is Stephanie Small-Diaz. I am a physician. I studied in London. I studied abroad. And the only reason when I tell people I studied abroad, they're like, why did you do that? Well, I was a military brat for several years. So my parents traveled, so I was used to traveling everywhere. So when it came time for me to make my decision of going to medical school, my dad was transferred to London. And I was not going to let them leave me in America by myself. So I transitioned with them, and I did some research, and I found a school there that I did my medical school.
And what made you want to pursue the medical field?
Well, the first thing that made me want to pursue medicine was my uncle's a cardiologist in Michigan. And I just always saw him doing different things and interacting with people. And we would go visit him and someone would say, oh, your uncle saved my life, And I just liked that, that he was giving himself back to the community. So I just, at a young age, I really wanted to get involved and see how I can make my mark in my life. So that was one of the main goals that attributed me going to medical school.
Was the schooling any different out there than it is here? Just because I'm in nursing school, so I went from one program to the next, and it's a totally different.
It is because, of the different value of healthcare here versus there. So everyone has healthcare there. So the thing is with when I went to medical school there, they're more on a focus on you getting to know your patient. And a focus of you getting their history, knowing more about them. However you can find anything about them, that's what the main focus was. So that's what I see the difference. But other than that, it's the same. It's a lot of hard work.
And how long is that process? Like from going to undergrad all the way, how many years is that?
It's about undergrad is 4, medical school is 4, and then whatever you want to specialize in, it depends what you want to specialize in. That's another 4 or 3 years. Some programs another 6 years.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's about 10 years.
You have to put your time into it.
10 years of your time.
And I mean, just how does that make you feel like that you're able to help other people?
Well, it makes me feel like accomplished when I come home at the end of the day. It makes me feel like I've done something. And then now that I have children, it makes me feel like, oh, this is something I can show them. This is what your mom does every day. This is what she cares about. And letting them know at the foundation of their life that they need to care about other people.
And can you like educate us just a little bit about like the position that you have and that you do?
Right. Recently, about 7 years ago, I decided to transition into management in medicine. Because when I got out of medical school, I started working for a primary care practice. And I was like, oh, we're going to save the world. We're going to do this. And then, you know, in medical school, they don't teach you have to pay the light bill. You have to pay your staff.
Yes.
Wait a minute. Where does all this money come from? So I started getting involved into finding out what is the background of having a medical practice. And when I started doing that research, I found out that you have to educate yourself more because you have insurance companies that will come to you and drop off contracts and you don't know anything about them. So when I was at this practice, I started diving deep and just educating myself on how to negotiate these practices, how to get a better plan, how to get more money, how to bring more money into the business. Because in medical school, they don't teach you how to be a business person. Yeah. So that's what after deciding to get into that, that's when I decided to transition into management. Because when I got into management, I started having a lot of my employees coming to me and saying, hey, you know, could you help me guide my career? Could you be a mentor to me? So I was like, wow, if I could be a mentor to somebody that I work with, why can't I be a mentor to my whole staff? So I went and got my MBA and got more information about being in business. And that's where the management came in.
And like, how does it feel to be a manager, I guess, in a doctor profession? And you say you have to be a mentor, right? You have a young daughter. So how do you see yourself, you know, trying to mentor others, but not only just others, but your young daughter and your son?
Well, with my daughter and my son, I want to be an example for them. So I want them to say, okay, well, my mom, I see her get up every day. I see her going to work. I see her pursuing different things. I want them to say, I want to be like that. With my staff, I want to elevate them. Okay. So I meet with my staff once a month and they tell me something, I want to pursue this. Oh, okay, you want to go to nursing school? Next month, I want to see what you're doing to do that.
Holding them accountable.
They have to come back to me and say, okay, well, I looked at these different schools. I think I'm going to apply to this school. And I'm like, oh, okay, so what's next? So with my staff, I'm elevating them. And with my children, I want to be an example.
Try to be a staple in somebody's life.
And I want to address the elephant in the room, but you're a doctor during a pandemic. How has that been over this past year?
So it ties directly into my management because, you know, we shut down a year ago, maybe a couple of days ago, we shut down. So my practice where I'm at, we never shut down. We switched automatically to telehealth. We were already prepared for something like that. I have a great VP where I work that is a forward thinker, and we were already prepared for something like the pandemic. We didn't know it was coming, but we switched all our doctors directly to telehealth.
And I mean, just you have, as a mother, and I see my mom do it all the time, you have to have an off and on button, right? Where as soon as you clock off of work, okay, I'm coming home, mommy mode. Yeah. You have 2 young kids. Yeah. How is it going to work and dealing with a pandemic out here in the world, but then coming home, let them know, excuse me, that everything is okay, like nothing's wrong with you, even though you may be exhausted?
Yeah. It was a lot in the beginning because not only did I have to deal with my children, I had to deal with my staff. Yes. My staff had children. My physicians had children. And they had mothers and fathers who were, 70 years old or something like that. So I had to deal with, how do I still be upbeat? And we're going through this, which nobody knows what's going to happen at the end. Yes. So that's a great question. I mean, I don't know if I really dealt with it. It was a lot because you had to prepare yourself for all aspects of what was coming at me. But I think what kept me going every day is, hey, we're still open for our patients. We still care about them. We still want to we are on the edge of technology to help them, to still let them know they're there for me, even though I can't see them or touch them, or, you know, hey, Miss Jones, how you doing today? I couldn't do that, but they knew that they could still reach out.
Yes.
So,
And do you feel like as if frontline workers may have gotten like undervalued, underappreciated during this time?
I think they did in the beginning, but I think 4 weeks into it, everybody was like, let's go healthcare workers, you know, because they were the ones. I mean, my hat goes off to those in the ER, those in the ICUs. They really stepped up, and they were at the point where they were super women and super men, because they saw it first line. Like, we would see it right before something happened to somebody, but they saw that person for 21 days, 30 days on a ventilator. They saw that person every morning waking up. So my hat goes off to them.
Do you think
for
that healthcare professions, like within the hospitals, will get looked at differently or treated differently after this pandemic passes?
Oh, absolutely. I think they're going to be looked at on another level of appreciation and inspiration. And we're already seeing that, because I was reading, I think, in the New York Times, that said that the number of applicants that they would receive for nursing school and medical school, PA school, has increased in the last year. So as long as we can get and be an example and get more frontline workers, that's the key.
And what would you tell like young aspiring doctors, nurses, or people just trying to get in the medical field? Like, what would you tell them that they need to know that maybe motivate them?
Well, the first thing I would say is trust the process, because it's a long process.
Yes.
And the second thing I would say is make sure that is what you want to do, because it is something that is going to take up a lot of your time. You're going to be you're going to see your friends hanging out, and you can't go. You're going to have a lot of that. But the last thing, and I think the most important thing, is don't be afraid to step out the box. Like, my family was like, oh, you went to medical school, now you want to go to management? Yes, that's what I want to do. And now they understand, because they understand that it's hand in hand.
Yes.
You know, you are motivating young individuals to pursue their dreams, and also you're in the process of managing a whole office, a whole hospital, to make it better for your patients.
And I kind of want to circle back on the managerial position for you, because you're what they call a double minority, right? Where you're a woman, but you're a black woman, and you have this high level of responsibility for, you know, other workers. How do you like view yourself like in that position? Like, what do you think made you, in the proper term, qualified for that position?
I think, to be honest with you, if I didn't have my MD degree, I don't think I would get in many doors.
Yes.
So that's where I feel that it goes hand in hand for me. And the next thing is my passion.
Yes.
Like, I have a passion for people. Like, I care about you succeeding. I care about you leaving your footprint on this earth. So I just think that, to me, is a masterpiece of something that needs to come together for you being in charge of somebody else's future.
And I think that's what makes you great at your position, because you do have such a caring heart. You know, you want to motivate people. You love being that mentor. You love taking people under your wing. Like, who influenced you to be like such a caring person, or just like a strong mentor?
Well, I mean, my grandmother, she was a type of person that she always told me that if you don't do something good today, what did you do today? And it just always stuck with me. I mean, she used to say that to me when I was 10 years old. So every day I wake up and like, what can I do today? How can I do it? And I mean, don't get me wrong. Some days it gets overwhelming, because you're like, I did this yesterday, it didn't work. Why am I doing it again today? But then when I get it done, I'm excited.
Yes. Man, I can't avoid it, but like, what are your thoughts on like the COVID vaccination?
Well, my thoughts on it is that thank God it's here.
Yes.
Because it's something that needed to happen. It's something that we needed. We were struggling. I mean, August, we were struggling. People, we didn't know what we were going to do with these children, these college students going back to school. We were struggling. And I am so happy that these companies jumped in and stopped whatever else they were working on and focused all on this vaccine. So I'm all for it.
Yes.
Especially for our elderly population. We want to see our grandparents. We want to see them stay here for a while.
My grandma wasn't playing. She said, "Don't you come visit me." That's why I got FaceTime.
We want to see them. So I'm all for it. I think I tell anyone who's not on the fence about it, do your research. Find out what's in it. I mean, it's published everywhere. Find out what's in it. Find out the best one for you. But at the end of the day, I think we all need to be covered.
Because Ree he's iffy on the
I just haven't
shot.
got it yet.
Okay.
I ain't made my way to it yet.
Okay.
So.
Yeah.
But no, that's great. I don't know if you would like to discuss it a little bit further, but the stigma of, black men going to the doctors.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that need? Because honestly, I can answer that question for myself. Because with me, I always felt the nerve of when I went to the doctor. It was always bad news, right? It was nothing ever really positive, and I knew that they were just doing their job. They're just telling me they want the best health for you. But why do you think in a black community that's such like a curse? Like, no, I don't want to go to the doctor. I'm fine, or I can cure it myself.
Yeah. I don't know. And being a black female and having a lot of uncles, I think it goes all the way back to our history. What is it? People always bring up the Tuskegee Project.
Yes.
That's when our black men, they were told, hey, we're going to give you health care. We're going to provide medicine and everything for you. And they were tricked. So not only is that story being told in so many households, it's being told generation after generation. And I just think that a lot of our black men think I can take care of myself. They're so strong. They take care of our households. They take care of our communities. Hey, I can take care of my body. So I think that's one of the reasons about it. But I've really never sat down and asked. My family, we come of a family of physicians and people in healthcare, that I really don't have that in my family.
Yes.
So my dad, he was the first one in Louisiana trying to find out where can he go. He was ready to go. So I really don't know. And to give you an example, we have some of our patients who will bring their wives to the doctor and sit in the waiting room. Why aren't you coming in? Why aren't you scheduling an appointment? Oh, I'm okay. Nothing's wrong with me. And then you hear about that patient having a heart attack and leaving his wife alone. So what I tell patients that come to the practice, when I meet them, go introduce myself, let them know who I am. I usually try to say, I want to partner with you in your health care. Whether it's on this side, the managerial side, or if I can offer you to find out what's the best doctor that is great for you. But I want to form a partnership with you.
I think it's about the relationship, because I know for me, me and her are really cool. I think it's that relationship that we built over the years. She's watching me grow up.
Okay.
I think it's the way that she, talks to you. And just in case like you said, everything you said is like negative or it comes out of the doctor's office. So it's like, I think the way she tells you, like, okay, this is happening, but this is how we can fix it. Or this is what you do. So I think it's all about the relationship that you build with your patients.
And then I think another thing is with our African American community, you want to see somebody that looks like you.
Yeah.
And I think when you see somebody that looks like you, the result or the results that you're getting isn't too bad because they're trying to help you. So I think that plays a part.
It's been a pleasure. I'm glad that I was able to get you on the show. I know you were a little bit nervous, but you did a great job. He's Ree Washington. I go by the name of Joshua Hicks. This is Opinionated, the podcast, Miami edition. Love, always. We carry the burden of what I like to call outside noise. In our society, we can be cheered, booed, loved, and hated within the same day. although we fail to realize who gives a damn. The measure of character is when you are able to look in the mirror each morning and recognize the person looking back at you. This week, keep your head up and shoulders back. Watch as you realize how many people aren't as focused as you are. Good things are coming, but it's no longer for those who wait. As always, God bless. Selah.